Welcome to Relocating to Disney. I'm reporting to you from inside Hurricane Nicole. So Hurricane Nicole was heading up the Atlantic, turned into a Cat 1 hurricane, and decided, you know what, I want to go to Disney World. So it took an immediate left and cut across the state and going right up the center. And it's going to pass directly over our house in the middle of the night. So it wasn't that long ago that we had Hurricane Ian come through. It was the end of September, and here we are now in November with an end of the season hurricane coming. Right now it's about 64 degrees outside. It's kind of chilly for Florida for sure. And we're expecting some little bit of rain and quite a bit of wind. And hey, it's Florida. We get hurricanes. Well, here's an update. The hurricane is still about 10 hours away from going over top of us, and it's windy, but not horribly bad. We have developed now a checklist of activities to do every time there's a storm coming, and at some point I'll share that checklist with you. It includes bringing in furniture and getting things ready in our guest room, which is where we hunker down. So far, so good. This will probably be the last recording for this evening. We are 3 hours away from the hurricane making landfall, and I think it's about 6 or 7 hours before the eye passes over us or before the storm hits us. I'm not exactly sure what, but it's pretty windy right now. Winds are going to pick up. They're going to be, 60 miles an hour, which when I was in New York, we would have 60-mile-an-hour winds. We lived up near Lake Ontario. Wasn't all that uncommon. But we could see gusts up to 70, 75 miles an hour. So that's what we got to look forward to overnight. I plan on sleeping through the entire storm, waking up tomorrow and seeing the remnants, the last parts of it as it passes by. But that's it for tonight, and next update will be tomorrow. Well, here I am outside on the front porch. Right now, there's an eye to the storm, and it's passing over our area right now. It's interesting, the hurricane came ashore and immediately dropped down to a tropical storm. It was supposed to remain a hurricane all the way up through until it got into our area, but luckily it did break up. It's also interesting to note that the storm still has an eye, right? Usually those eyes break up once it comes ashore, but this particular storm is going to have an eye, which is just the center part of the storm, the round center part. It's going to continue to have that as it works its way north. And even though supposedly we're in this eye right now, it's still kind of windy out. The news is reporting that we have the biggest wind gusts in the state at this moment, up to 55 miles an hour. And if you look behind me here, you can see some of the lanai screens that I recently repaired have come back down. So I've got some more lanai repair to do. And even we've got, if I turn a little bit, you can see it a little bit there, some new screens are now loosed. And I think there's one right up there that's flapping around. So we've got some screen repair to be doing this weekend. And if I turn just right, you can probably see one screen ended up here in the pool. So we'll be fishing that guy out this weekend as well. So far it's just wind and rain. I point out here, the pool here is pretty full. It's probably got another inch or two before it goes over the banks. Not that it's a big deal. If it goes over, we got a channel here that the pool would go into, and then it would exit out of the lanai. We could lower this pool, but we probably won't. We'll just ride it out and see. If it looks like it's going to overflow, we'll take it down a couple of inches. It's now 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The storm has pretty much moved off to the north, and the direction of the wind has now changed. It's now blowing in from the south. Just the way the hurricane swirls, we're getting the dirty side, as they call it. So we're pretty much done with the storm, just some wind now. Behind me, you can see one of our palm trees. These are the Sylvesters. Whenever you look at the news and they're talking about hurricanes and high winds, and even in my video, you'll see palm trees just flopping all over the place. Well, palm trees are built to withstand the wind. They're built to do that. And it looks pretty dramatic on video when you see them all flipped over and half bent and they're shaking and stuff like that. But that's what palm trees do. So it's kind of normal. It's nothing to be too scared about. And I had mentioned the wind had changed direction. You can see the Sylvesters are now blowing this way instead of that way like they were earlier in the videos. And that's it. The retention pond has some water in it now. We're going to be emptying out some water out of our pool just to get it back down. But that's it for this hurricane. Thank you for watching.